Hey Jason here from Simply Swider. If your Whirlpool washer is completely dead and won't turn on, I've got good news. You can probably fix this in the next 10 minutes without spending a dime. Most people think their machine is fried, but it's usually just confused like a computer that needs a simple reboot. Before we get started, if you run into any questions, jump into our Facebook group. Links in the description. We've got thousands of people helping each other fix their appliances, and I pop in there daily to help out. All right, so your Whirlpool washer isn't responding to anything. No lights, no sounds, nothing. Here's the thing most people don't realize. These modern washers are basically computers with safety systems that can freeze up just like your laptop. The control board is constantly monitoring dozens of sensors and switches, and when something confuses it, the whole system shuts down as a safety precaution. We're going to work from the simplest electronic issues to the more complex hardware failures. About 45% of the time, it's just an electronic glitch that needs a reset. 25% it's a faulty safety switch, and the rest breaks down into settings issues or actual hardware failures. The key is understanding whether you're dealing with a confused computer or actual broken parts. You'll see absolutely nothing, no display, no lights, nothing responds when you press buttons. Here's what's happening. The control board's memory is holding onto an electrical charge or error state from a power surge, interrupted cycle, or even just unplugging the machine at the wrong time. These computer brains are super sensitive to electrical interruptions. Here's what you're going to do. First, make sure your hands are completely dry, then unplug the washer completely from the wall outlet and leave it unplugged for exactly 5 minutes. Set a timer on your phone. This isn't just hitting the power button. You need to physically pull that plug from the wall. During those 5 minutes, the capacitors on the control board may discharge sufficiently to make the board safer to handle, which can help it reboot. After 5 minutes, plug it back in and try starting a cycle. I've seen this simple reset fix machines that people were ready to throw away. Don't ask me how I know that, but power surge sensitivity is the number one reason these machines appear totally dead when they're actually just confused. You'll notice the washer might power on and show lights, but when you try to start a cycle, nothing happens. You might hear repeated clicking sounds or see a flashing lid lock light. What's happening is the safety switch that confirms your lid is properly closed has failed mechanically or electrically. Years of opening and closing, especially slamming the lid, eventually breaks the plastic housing or the internal contacts. Here's your step-by-step test. First, close the lid and listen for a solid click. No click usually means a broken latch. Next, you'll need a basic multimeter, about 15 bucks at any hardware store. Set it to continuity mode, touch the probes to the switch terminals, then manually press the switch. You should see the reading jump from infinite resistance to zero. No change means the switch is dead. If there's no continuity or it doesn't change, the switch is shot. This is one of those parts that can't be reset or repaired. You got to replace the whole latch assembly. Don't try to bypass it permanently. That's a serious safety hazard that can seriously hurt someone. You'll see the display might show LOC, LC, or a little lock icon, or maybe a timer counting down. What's happening is someone accidentally activated the control lock feature to prevent kids from messing with the settings, or delay start got turned on somehow. These are user activated safety features, not actual malfunctions. Here's the quick fix. Scan your control panel for a button labeled control lock. On some models, it's labeled signal instead. Press and hold that button for exactly 3 seconds. You'll hear a beep and see the lock symbol disappear from the display. No beep. Try holding the end of cycle signal button instead. If it's delay start, you'll need to either wait for the timer to run out or find the delay start button and turn it off. I had this lady last week convinced her washer was broken. Turned out her grandson had been playing with the buttons and locked her out of the controls. You'll see either nothing at all or the display acts completely erratic, lights flashing randomly, cycles starting and stopping, or a burning smell. What's happening is actual physical damage to the electronic brain of the machine. Power surges from lightning or electrical work can fry circuits, or overloading the machine repeatedly can cause the board to overheat and short out. Here's what you're going to do. First, look for obvious signs like burn marks or melted components on the board itself. If you see that, or if the reset didn't work and all the safety switches test good, you're often looking at a board replacement, depending on the vehicle. This isn't a DIY repair for most people. You're dealing with a $150 to $980 part that requires careful installation. Don't try to repair individual components on the board unless you've got serious electronics experience. You'll see the machine is completely dead. No power to anything, just like a blown board, but the difference is in the testing. What's happening is a thermal or line fuse blew to protect the machine from overheating or electrical overload. This usually means something else was drawing too much power and the fuse did its job. Here's what you're going to do. Locate the fuses, they're usually small white or clear cylinders, and test them with your multimeter for continuity. A blown fuse will read infinite resistance, but here's the key, don't just replace the fuse and call it good. You got to find out what caused the amp draw spike in the first place, whether it's a seized pump, bad motor, or something else. If you just replace the fuse without fixing the underlying cause, it'll blow again immediately. All right, let's talk about the mistakes that'll either cost you big money or put you in danger. First mistake, using extension cords. These washers often need clean, stable power, and extension cords can cause voltage drops that may damage your control board in many models, depending on the vehicle. Second, forcing a locked door open. I see this all the time. People often get impatient and yank on a locked door, which can destroy the locking mechanism and potentially crack the door seal, leading to expensive leaks. Third, bypassing safety switches. Yeah, jumpering a lid switch might get the machine running for testing, but leaving it that way is asking for someone to get seriously hurt by a spinning tub. Fourth, replacing expensive parts without trying the free stuff first. Don't ask me how I know that, but I've seen people spend $400 on a new control board when all they needed was a 5-minute unplug. And here's the big one, slamming lids repeatedly. That plastic latch mechanism wasn't designed for abuse, and replacing it is way more expensive than just closing the lid gently. If you're not comfortable working with electrical components or testing with a multimeter, call a pro. Electricity and water don't mix well. Let's talk real numbers here. A hard reset costs you nothing but 5 minutes of your time, but a control board runs $150 to $980 depending on your model. Lid switches are pretty reasonable at $15 to $60, but you'll pay $100 to $150 just for a service call. Here's the thing about professional repair. Most shops charge a minimum diagnostic fee that's often half the cost of common parts. You can get thermal fuses for $10 to $25 at places like Repair Clinic or even Walmart, but labor starts at $150. Here's my money saving rule. If your repair costs more than half the price of a new washer, just replace the whole thing. So if a new similar washer costs $600, don't spend more than $300 on repairs. But here's the key, always start with free fixes first. I've seen people drop $400 on a new control board when they needed a $20 lid switch, or waste $800 on a new washer when a 5-minute reset would have done the trick. Always start with the cheapest, simplest fixes first. Part numbers help a lot. For lid switches, look for parts like 3949238 or W10404050, and you can cross-reference those on Repair Clinic to make sure you're getting the right part. Now, different Whirlpool models have their own quirks you should know about. The Cabrio series is super sensitive to electronic glitches, but they've got a specific reset sequence. Set the dial to normal, turn it left to delicate, then right to heavy duty, right to colors, right to rinse and spin, left to quick wash, then right to normal and pull the knob to start. Sounds crazy, but it works. Post 2010 top loaders respond to what we call the lid dance, opening and closing the lid 6 times in 12 seconds to trigger a master reset. You can see this working right on the screen. Front-loading models, especially the newer ones, are notorious for door latch failures that trigger F5E3 errors, making the whole machine appear dead. The mechanical dial models, over 10 years old, commonly develop timer issues where they'll hum in some positions but not others. That's usually internal contact wear in the timer assembly. Each model has its weak points, so knowing your specific series helps narrow down the most likely culprit. That's how you tackle a dead Whirlpool washer. Start simple with the 5-minute unplug, then work through control locks, lid switches, and fuses before assuming you need expensive parts. Most of the time, you'll find the problem in those first few steps. One prevention tip, avoid overloading your machine, as it can contribute to various washer issues, including potential control board strain. If you guys know someone who's having appliance troubles, please send them the link to this video or a link to my channel where I have tons of other videos showing how to fix pretty common issues with appliances, sometimes for free or as little cost as possible. It sure beats having a repairman come out and spending several hundred for them to fix it when it could be something so simple. If this helped you get your washer working again, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Let me know which fix worked for you. Really helps other people with the same problem. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We'll get this out to more folks who need to save some time and money. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.